Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Central YouTube channel. Just had a chance to talk to Aaron Polma on the offensive side of the ball for the RiverHawk football team. Now we're going to flip sides and go to the defensive side of the ball, talking tonight with senior safety Carson Jones. Carson, thanks for joining us tonight.
Of course.
So we've been trying to get Carson on here too, another one that our schedules just have not aligned very well, but we got him tonight. Wednesday nights seem to be a good night for everybody to get together and do some of this stuff. So I'm glad we finally have you here, Carson. Coming off a big victory over Holman, 22-14, keeping pace in the MVC, trying to catch on Alaska. What were your thoughts on that Holman game?
Holman every year, it's a physical game. We got to bring our best game. We got to be physical, like all week practice leading up to it. Just be as physical as we can. And defensively, I thought we did really well, actually. We came out with some new fronts that we haven't showed or played in this year. I thought we handled that really well. We were put in some tough spots, like defensively, like short fields. When they had the whole field to go, I thought we actually did a really good job on defense. They're not much of a passing team, but when they did try, they had nowhere to go. So
Yeah, for sure. You could tell that they wanted to try and, do some smash mouth football, run the ball. They were not interested in passing, and you could kind of see why when they tried to pass. That did not go well for them. And that's a credit to your defense. And I think you did a nice job there mentioning that when they had to go the whole field, they didn't score. Their 2 touchdowns came on short fields. And so those were from some self-inflicted wounds that I'm sure the RiverHawk offense is working on cleaning up this week. One thing I noticed in that game, and I wanted to ask you about this, we saw lots of pre-snap movement on the defensive side of the ball at Holman. So I saw you guys, Holman would get up to the line, and then I saw you guys yelling at each other about where people should be lined up. And I saw, I keep an eye on Zach. I saw Zach running back to be a safety with you. I saw Zach running up to be a linebacker at times. I saw you being the single safety back there, having to go in the middle of the field, then kind of shading to the other side. What was that? What was all that motion based off of? Is that based off of their alignment?
so not really their alignment necessarily, but so they'll go down, we'll have our defensive set. They'll come down, they'll give us a hard count, and then they'll look to the sideline for a new call. So on the defensive side, we're gonna look to our sideline too. And then whatever our coordinator gives us, he gives us a different set. We're gonna go try to get in that set. Like with Zach moving from safety to linebacker, he's always been kind of like a Swiss Army knife for us. We can plug and play him wherever we need, and he does a great job there.
So I'm guessing that the communication between you guys out on the field is really important. I know you're looking over the coaches. Do you guys communicate that then on the field once you get that signal from the coach? Are you the main guy that's yelling out because you're the safety behind everything? You can see the whole field. Is that your job?
Yeah, for sure. Like as safeties, we got to communicate with our other safety on the field. We got to communicate with the corners, even so when the corners are away from our sideline, it's hard for them to look all the way over and hear the call. So we just got to make sure, make eye contact. Everyone knows the play. And then sometimes you got to relate to linebackers too, because what we're doing in the secondary will affect their drops or their assignments as well. So we just got to make sure everyone knows what to do on the play.
Very cool. So even though Carson may not be making all the tackles, Carson, an integral part of that. We don't want Carson making all the tackles, to be honest with you. Carson being an integral part of that defense, making sure that everybody's lined up where they're supposed to be, and especially when they're trying to switch alignments at the last second. I have to talk to you, Carson, about that tackle you had against Toma. Right before the half, Toma was trying to score quick, and they were getting the ball coming out of half as well. And so they had a chance to do a 2-for-1. I think there was, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, 20 seconds left when they got the ball. They did a couple quick passes, got to about their own 45-yard line. And then all of a sudden their quarterback unleashed one, and they had a guy that got behind our defense of all things, the last thing that we could possibly have happen. But you tackled him at about the half-inch line. What were your thoughts on that play? What happened on that play? Just go through that for us.
Yeah, so we're in a cover for prevent shell on defense. We had 4 guys deep, and they had doubles on their right, so our left on the defensive side. They had a deep post out of the outside, and the inside guy kind of just ran a shallow crosser. So I was safety on the right. I read the crosser to eliminate that. Then I saw the quarterback look deep. I flipped my hips. Ball was uncorked. He got by our 2 deep zones on the right. So I just knew I had to make a play, big play in the game if they score here, especially like you said, getting ball out of halftime. Completely different game if they score that. But luckily for us, we got him down before they could reach the
Right.
end zone.
So I would ask you what you were thinking when you saw that guy getting behind the back to safety, but I'm not going to ask because it's probably not safe for the interview. So we can imagine what you were thinking in your mind, but good job on your part, getting back there and making a play. And as you mentioned, that changed the whole course of that game. They score there and it's a different ball game. So Carson, I got to ask, I know you pretty well. You've been really good friends with Zach for a long time, but our fans don't know you well. And I want to know who have been the biggest influences for you in football in particular.
First, I got to give credit to just like my parents and like my dad. He was my coach in Little League for however many years through flag football, through like the BGC tackle football program. They've always been there supporting me, like driving me to practice, buying me equipment and just everything like that. And
Oh, we have a visitor.
cat. Come here. There, 1 second.
All right, we like visitors. Again, we're visiting with Carson Jones, senior safety for the Central RiverHawks. Had a chance to talk to him about that big tackle against Toma. You can't go back and watch it right now because all the games are off the live stream. But at the end of the season, I encourage you to go back and watch that right before the half. It was an amazing play. But anyway, you mentioned your parents were big influences for you, and who else?
Yeah, of course. A guy that was at Central, actually, Quinn Service, my sophomore year, he was our safety. And back when we used to run one high, when he was a senior and like last year, I just learned a lot from him. He was a great teacher, great mentor, always like trying to be there teaching me. I learned a lot from him. Really grateful for that experience.
That's awesome that you mentioned him. So let me ask you this. Are you paying it forward now and taking some of those younger kids? Because next year, Carson Jones won't be on the field for the RiverHawks. It's going to be somebody else in that position. Do you take it upon yourself to take some of those younger kids and make sure they know the lay of the land?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's got to get reps in there. I know for like some sophomores, juniors, even it's like a little scary getting in there with the varsity guys, but reps is like the best way you're going to learn and practice. So you're prepared out there Friday night for when you get your chance.
I love that you mentioned the BGC tackle football days. I remember them well. It seems like it was just yesterday, but I remember Coach Jones roaming the sidelines, and those games were intense. That was fun.
For sure.
It was a lot of fun. All right, let's talk about you next year. Carson Jones, what are we going to be doing next year at this time? You will not be at Central anymore. What are your long-term plans? What are you hoping to major in? Or are you going to go right to work? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking about maybe going to UWL here and going to like a sports management program just to try to always get involved and like stay involved with sports like as I age and grow up.
Absolutely. UWL, one of the best programs in the nation for sports management. So, and I'm a UWL alum in full disclosure, so I don't want any other colleges yelling at me about that. But that sounds like a good plan to me. All right, let's look ahead to Friday night. We have Sparta at Sparta. What can we expect? I just asked Aaron what we can expect to see from the Spartan defense. Now I'm going to ask you, what do we expect Sparta to do offensively against us to try to attack our defense?
So our coach had come up with great plan. I'll restart that.
All right.
All right. So our coaches, they've come up with a great game plan this week for us, and we expect them to actually come out in an empty look a lot against us. So, we're just trying to figure that out in practice, get our guys in the right spot, make sure everybody knows what they're doing. And Sparta likes to motion a lot. Make sure we know like if we need to follow the motion, if we can stay, if we need to roll our safeties around, or just whatever we need to do to prepare for like anything we will or may see on Sparta.
Are we expecting a lot of runs? Are we expecting a lot of passes? I saw Peyton in the hallway, and he said he thought they were going to pass quite a bit Friday night. Are you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I think they'll pass, but I think they're definitely going to try to establish a running game, whether that be with their quarterback or just on the Jets. I think it'll be a good balance out of Sparta this week.
So basically what you're telling me is that defense better be ready for everything.
For sure, and we will be.
You guys always are, absolutely. All right, Carson, thank you so much for taking some time to meet with us tonight. Really appreciate getting a chance to finally talk to you.
Of course.
And viewers, thank you for tuning in. Reminder, tomorrow night we have volleyball as the RiverHawks looking to bounce back from that tough matchup last night at Toma. They will be hosting Holman in the Sutton Gym. Joel McCall will be live on the call. We'll have the VR game recording, so you'll be able to watch a VR game live. No play-by-play for that, though. Joel will start the play-by-play probably about 6:45 or so, 6:50, and then he'll call. I think the first serve is at 7 o'clock, depending on that VR game. I will be out covering the freshman football game, but I will come in as soon as that game is done and join the broadcast as well. And then, of course, Friday night, Carson and the boys looking to continue their winning ways, especially in the MVC as they're chasing on Alaska. And, I just told Aaron too that you guys are ranked now in the coaches poll. I know Coach Olson doesn't want to talk about that, so you guys don't be thinking about that. But our viewers should know that the RiverHawks are ranked in the top 10 now in the coaches poll in the WIA. So hopefully continue their success that they've had on the gridiron. We'll be there at Sparta. We just found out that we do have a spot in the press box, and so we will have live play-by-play starting at 6:45. We'll start with the pregame. 7 o'clock is kickoff. We hope you can tune in or go to the game, or both if you want to do that. So we have a busy week, busy end of the week here for the Central YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. So have a great night.